it's been a long, tough year, and it's not over yet, right? We have 3.5 months to go as I record this video before the end of 2020. And I don't know about you, but I am uncharacteristically feeling weary and a bit hopeless. It's really not like me, but this year is beginning to wear on me. And I bet that you also have had similar feelings. And it's no wonder. It's no wonder that we are feeling tired, having more difficulty facing challenges, and struggling to believe that something good is going to happen, to feel hope. So if you just look at the facts, you'll understand why. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, over 900,000 people have died of COVID-19. Between the middle to end of May to the middle to end of August, there have been more than 10,600 demonstrations across the United States alone. And then there are other fires on the west coast of the U.S. where I live. More than 2 million acres have burned to date. And then, of course, there's the unemployment issue, right? The rise in the number of unemployed workers in the U.S. due to COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything related to it is greater than the increase that was due to the Great Recession. As I said, it's no wonder that we feel fatigued and hopeless. It's really been a crazy year, hasn't it? So what I want to talk about today, though, is how to regain your energy and hope. Okay, so I know from myself, as I said, it's uncharacteristic for me to feel fatigued and hopeless and depressed. And yet, over the last few weeks, I noticed it. I noticed that my mood was much lower. I was much more negative. I was feeling somewhat depressed and sleeping a lot. Like, I kept offering gratitude every morning for sleep. And yeah, it's been tough. And I live in a fire zone. We had a fire close to us. If you look behind me, maybe you've seen some pictures from my deck before where it was clear. You could see all the way to the ocean. And look at it. That's smoke. I actually ventured out here. The air quality is not super bad, but not great. I was looking at something here on the table that it has ash all over it. And yeah, but I ventured out here to shoot this video anyway. In any case, yeah, so I'm living in this area where we have constant threat of fire. We have things in suitcases. My car is packed in case we were to evacuate. My husband's been out of work. It's a lot. And so I felt it too. And I felt the change in my energy level and the change in my mood. And I started to think about, what could I pull out of my certified high performance coaching toolbox? What could I pull out of my spiritual toolbox in order to create a strategy that would help me begin to feel less weary, less fatigued, and more positive. And so I want to share with you today the things that I came up with in the hopes that maybe they'll help you. I always think of myself as an every woman, and what's working for me might work for someone else, or at least provide a jumping off point for you to find what works for you. So the first strategy that I have is to actually get strong. And this has to do with exercise. I had about a 2-month period where my exercise routine, I'd been super proud of myself that through this pandemic, even though I wasn't going to the gym anymore, that I was actually working out very consistently, more consistently than usual. And then over the last 2 months, some things have happened, between the heat waves and the fires and some business related issues where I fell off the wagon and wasn't exercising as much. And I think it had a huge impact on me, because the thing about exercise is when you work out, when you move your body, your body actually releases hormones called endorphins that make you feel good. And so, also Sweating releases toxins from your body, which, I'm breathing in toxins here in the air, and that makes you feel better. So I think that not only does exercise strengthen your body so that it's, you're better able to fight off illness, but it makes you feel better in general. It improves your emotional and your mental state, right? Not just your physical state. So surviving 2020, I think, requires a strong mental, emotional, and physical state. So get strong, okay? Move your body in some way. Okay, number 2 is to focus your attention. I noticed that while I normally don't watch a lot of news, there came a point in the pandemic where every night we were watching the news, my husband and I, to see how many cases there were near us of COVID-19. And then as we got into the heat waves and all of that, it became a weather thing. We had to watch the weather as well as to see the number of cases of COVID. And I found myself, instead of watching, maybe just a little bit of news, watching quite a bit, like easily an hour or more every day. And actually, when the pandemic first hit, I was watching the news not just on the TV, but I was looking for news online. And so when I talk about focusing your attention, I'm talking about taking your attention off of the things that make you weary and hopeless. Okay? Take your attention away from the negativity. So reduce the amount of time you spend on the news. For me, I have back to just, how many cases are there? What's the weather? And, a little bit more, I would have to say. I mean, I try to stay apprised of what's happening in the world, but I don't like to focus on the negativity. So get what you need to get to stay apprised of what's going on in the world and in your area, and then take the time you save by not spending quite as much time on that as you might normally, to do something that actually improves your mood, improves your positivity, that's positive, motivating, inspiring. So that could be reading a book, watching a nice feeling movie, taking a course, talking to a friend, anything at all, going out in nature, but put your attention on something that is more helpful for you, okay? Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is to be of service. What gets me out of bed in the morning is being of service, knowing that what I do is of service to others. But if you look at the world and you end up feeling helpless to make a change, then you kind of assume with good reason that you can't make a difference. And that feeling will weigh on you. It'll make you feel heavy and unmotivated and tired, and you might get depressed. You might want to go to bed and just cover your head with the covers because you don't feel like you can make a difference, that there's nothing you can do to change the way things are. So what I want you to consider is how you can serve others or contribute in some other way. Take some kind of action, even if it's small, because that's going to make you feel better. So if it's helping your neighbor, yesterday I walked down, yes, despite the air quality, to my neighbor's house. It's a little bit of a hike because we live here in the mountains. Matter of fact, her driveway's kind of like this. Anyway, I went down there to feed her fish because she was supposed to be away. It turned out she wasn't away, but I did that just to be of service to her. So what can you do? Just, is it to smile at someone or support them, just to listen to them, whatever you can do to make a difference, it's going to make you feel better. So just be of service in some way. Number 4 is to have faith. And I think that in these times it can be really difficult to maintain your faith. But there's that old adage that God never gives us more than we can handle, or that the universe has our back. And I think no matter what your spiritual beliefs are, this is a time in which it's really important to muster your faith. You can try to understand why these things are happening, but hindsight's 20/20, and typically when things happen to us in our lives, we don't understand them until much, much later. So just have faith that it's all going to be okay. Have faith that you're going to learn and grow through this year, and that you're going to get stronger. That you will get stronger. You're going to learn some lessons and get stronger. Number 4 is to grow. To grow. I think we do grow through the hard times. And if ever there was a time to grow personally and spiritually, it's 2020. It's not only going to help you now in this present moment, but it's going to help you in the future too. So be at the top of your game, whatever that means for you. Become a high performer in every area of life possible. Invest in your personal and spiritual growth, because that's how you set yourself up to win in any situation, is through personal and spiritual growth. And yeah, it's going to help you now, and it's going to help you later. For me, I'm taking courses that are not business courses. I've been taking a lot of courses that require me to work on me, or that are spiritually based, because I want to not only grow as a person, but I want to increase my faith, increase my feeling of being guided and of being able to guide others. And so I'm reading books, I'm taking courses, and that's helping me to expand my knowledge and my mental and emotional and spiritual strength. So find ways to grow, whether that's reading books, taking courses, listening to documentaries or podcasts, whatever you choose to do. Okay, number 5 is kind of a fun one, and that's to give yourself a time out. These times are challenging, and they're emotionally challenging. And so when you get to that point, that breaking point where you just know you're going to yell at someone, or you're going to break down and cry, or that's what happens, is you don't speak to someone the way you wish you would if you had been more conscious, or you get so depressed that you want to cry, or you just feel hopeless, that is a time to take a time out. Put yourself on the timeout chair. So find a place that is your timeout space and go there and just be quiet. Just try to empty your mind. You can meditate and get centered, or you can just listen to your thoughts, or you can try not to think at all, or you can just allow yourself to feel what you feel, and cry and yell and scream or whatever, but do it in your timeout spot. And stay there until you feel calm and centered again. Then you can go back and re-enter the world. Okay, so we all need a timeout sometimes. We get overwhelmed. I'm trying to think. My therapist calls it not getting overwhelmed, but it's when your emotions just get too big, like you just can't handle them. We need a timeout then. We need to walk away and be alone for a while until we can actually function normally and speak to people normally. So timeout. Give yourself a timeout when necessary. Number 6 is to stick to a schedule. So, we saw this at the very beginning of the pandemic, that a lot of people were suddenly working from home and they didn't have the same schedules. A lot of us are, not myself personally, but, we've had to, people have had to work around having their kids home all the time, their spouses home all the time, and schedules kind of went to the wind. And schedules are super important because they give you structure, and that structure feels safer. And so it's super important for you to know what time you wake up, what time you have breakfast, what time you put the kids in front of their computers for their online school, what time you get to your desk, when do you exercise, when do you prepare dinner, when do you go for a walk with your spouse. Whatever it is, create a schedule. In high performance coaching, we talk about blocking time for different activities, and this is super important right now. Block time for things, but be consistent with the schedule. Get up at the same time every day, go to bed at the same time. Make dinner, exercise, work at consistent times, and you're going to feel a whole lot better. Number 7 is to, and this is the last one, is to feel gratitude. I think that 2020 has made it hard for us to feel grateful. There's so much we don't like, and we feel has been imposed upon us that is challenging, that we forget to be grateful. To be grateful that right in this moment you are safe or healthy. To remember and feel grateful that right now you have a roof over your head, or you have a job, or you have the potential of a job. I know people have lost loved ones, lost jobs, lost businesses, been in fear. But if in the moment you can be grateful for something, for the birds behind me on the feeder, for the fact that I didn't have to evacuate, for the fact that My husband and I have had enough money in the bank to get through this time while he's not working. To be grateful, I'm grateful for my clients. I'm grateful for the people who read my blog posts. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the wonderful dinners my husband cooks me. So find something to be grateful for. There's always something. There's always something to be grateful for, and when you feel gratitude, not only is that the strongest prayer you can offer, but it shifts your consciousness, it shifts your focus to what is working, to what you have, rather than to what you don't have. So here's the thing, 2020 will eventually end. In all likelihood, 2021 is going to require us to deal with some of the same challenges. Maybe to a lesser degree, but they're still going to be there. So you have to learn to not just deal with the situation that's presented to us in 2020, but to succeed despite all these challenges, despite these situations. Even better, like the highest performers in the world, find a way to thrive despite any adversity, because that skill is gonna serve you well in life, no matter what life throws your way. Okay, so I am Nina Amir, the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I hope I have inspired you today to find some strategies that will help you get through the last part of 2020 and into 2021. I love helping people get from where they are to where they want to go with nothing getting in the way. And the thing that typically gets in the way is you. You and I, it's what's up here. It's our mindsets, it's our behavior, our habits that get in the way of us achieving what we want and creating what we want and living a life that really feeds our souls. So that's my passion, is to help people learn how to live, to move from just surviving to thriving, and to achieve their potential, fulfill their purpose, so they can create the lives they really want and live them fully. If that's of interest to you, go to ninaamir.com and check me out. Or if you want, click above. There's a link to my certified high performance coaching. You can apply for a one-on-one session with me, and we'll spend quite a bit of time, about 90 minutes or more together, talking about your life and how to help you move forward. It's a great introduction to high performance coaching and a way to see whether you and I are a good fit to be a coach and client together. Also, I have group coaching, and you can find out about that at ninaamir.com, or you can join the Inspired Creator community. So I'll put a link up above for the Inspired Creator community, and that's where I combine personal and spiritual growth to help you create that life that's going to feed your soul. I'll also put a link up for group coaching, just in case that interests you. The group coaching has a little bit of a spiritual bent, and I combine people in the Inspired Creator community with the group coaching. So if you have a spiritual bent, you might as well just join the Inspired Creator community, because you're going to get more. But I do have the high performance coaching group, and of course you can work with me one-on-one. But in the meantime, if you want something free, read my blog at ninaamir.com, or watch these videos, subscribe to my YouTube videos, and please leave me a comment down below on this video, or if you're on my website, on my blog, leave me a comment there. Let me know whether these strategies helped you move out of feeling weary and fatigued and hopeless, into feeling more energized and positive and hopeful about the future. Until I talk to you next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.